All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Scott Sandoval. I'm the president of Pi Kappa Alpha. I want to welcome you all here. I'd like to introduce you to someone who is not only changing the world, but he's changing the face of how we view accepting jobs and moving forward with progressing not only I don't even know. I can't even put it into words for you. But the fact of it is that this man right here is going to really reshape how you think, because he's trying to create a paradigm shift that's really going to make you question everything. So let me welcome you, Jim Anderson.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Big round of applause. Cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. I have a little bit of your time. We have a little bit of time together tonight. So let's talk about the most interesting subject in the world. That sound like a fair deal? What is the most interesting subject in the world? It's you. Come on. What else do you want to talk about? It's all about you, right? So what we're going to be talking about is finding jobs. Okay, like real jobs, not becoming a sandwich artist. No. This is the real stuff, right? Hey. So, no. Not a real job. I mean, it might be an art form, yeah, but it's not a real job. All right. So I'd like to draw your attention to my beautiful slide. Okay, well, no, that's not going to happen tonight. That's okay. We don't need slides. Because it's just us. We're just having a talk, right? We're just having a chat. All right. So we already talked about where you guys are at school. You guys are all over the map. We got freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors. That is fantastic. That is wonderful. Congratulations. So what you may not realize about going to college is going to college is actually a job. Right? So you've got, what, 4, 5, 6 years to get through college, okay? And when you pop out on the other end, you'll have one extraordinarily expensive piece of paper. Woohoo! And you'll know what you want to do with the rest of your life, right? Right? Okay, no matter what, when you pop out on the other side of college, you would like to go out and get a job, right? It seems like a good way, because you've got maybe student loans, or somebody's got student loans. No matter what, you've got an apartment, a car, clothes, all that other stuff that you got to pay for. But what happens all too often is that we don't really think about the job thing until the college thing is over. Right? Last semester, senior year, I should probably interview. I should probably do something about it. And then there's a moment of panic. You run around. And you guys have probably heard the stats, right? A lot of people come out of college and spend a lot of time without a job. And we're going to make sure that, based on our discussion tonight, that is not you. When you get out of college, we want you to pop out and have a job waiting for you. That sound like a fair deal? Yes. So now we just have to talk about how we're going to make that happen. That's a good question. Now I get to see the slides, but you don't. All right. So we're going to talk about the worst thing that we could possibly do. The worst thing in the entire world would be to get you all set up to go out and get a job, and you get the wrong job. Like being a sandwich artist, right? So you're going to college, congratulations. You got into USF, congratulations, double congratulations on that. You've all hopefully picked some sort of major, yay. If you're a freshman or sophomore, you can change your mind. It's not like a tattoo, okay? You decide to do something else, it's not a problem whatsoever. In fact, we expect you to change your major at least once while you're in school. All right, so, but let's talk about that job thing. When it comes time for you to get a job, there's really 3 questions that you have to answer before you start even thinking about getting a real job. Question number 1, critical question. And by the way, there is no right answer, there is no wrong answer. There's just an answer for you. The very first question that you have to answer is, do you like working with people? Or do you prefer to work by yourself? And there's advantages and disadvantages to both of these. But we all have a preference, and you know what your preference is right now. Now, when you work by yourself, it's actually pretty cool, all right? Because you're responsible for what you make, okay? So the company comes along and says, here's a task for you to do. Okay, you're cool with that. So you work on it, and you produce something, and you give it back to whoever asked you to do it, and they say, good job, all right? And then they give you more work, and you do the same thing over and over again, right? But, you know, the benefit is that what you produce is your work, and it's very clear exactly how valuable you are. Great stuff. Now, if you're part of a team, turns out teams can do a lot more than just a single person, right? When you have a fire at your house, do you want the firemen to show up, or do you want the firemen to show up? You want them all to show up, right? Okay, same sort of concept. So really, as a team, you would be a team player, okay? So you would have a contribution that you would be making, which is cool, which is good. And by the way, those teams can do big projects. They can do big, scary things and stuff like that. And you can be part of that team that is successful, launches a new product, wins a new market, grabs a customer, does whatever they happen to do. But once again, your contribution is going to be sort of hidden inside of the team. But, you know, guess what companies really like? They really like team players. Because if you're good on that team, I can take you and put you over on this team. If you're good on that team, I can take you and put over on that team. And eventually, when I see that you're good on all these different teams, I can put you in charge of a team. Ooh, management, right? Ching, ching, ching. You see that career thing taking off? Once again, we all have our preferences. I like to work by myself, go away. I will have the work done and I'll tell you when it's done. Or I would never want to work by myself. I want to work as part of a team. I want to have people to talk to, I want to have people to interact with. Doesn't matter. You need to figure out which type of situation you enjoy the most, because it's going to help you figure out what type of job you want. Now the next question that you have to answer is, look, when you pop out of college, your usefulness to me as an employer is very small. Okay? Yeah, I'll hire you because I think you're going to go places, I think you're going to do, but straight out of college, your value is really pretty minimal, okay? So the type of job that I'm going to give you is going to be one of three types of job. You're going to be collecting data, you're going to be processing data, or you're going to be formatting data. And I don't care what field you're in, I don't care what your major is, fundamentally it comes down to doing one of those three things. So you need to spend just a moment thinking about it. You know, right out of school, first job, what do you want to do? Would you like to go out and grab data in whatever format it is for your particular field, collecting patient data, collecting market data, collecting stats on how something's doing for a product or something like that? That's one job, one type of job. Another type of job is taking all of that data and crunching it down to a smaller set of usable data. Separate type of job. And the third type of data is taking that crunch down data and formatting it for the rest of the company to be able to use. PowerPoint slides, reports, websites, it doesn't matter what it is. Those are the three major type of jobs out of college that you're going to get. Hey, after you do it for a while, after you've shown that you're successful, they give you a lot more responsibility. But that's where it starts. So the question, do you like collecting, processing, or formatting? All right? Once again, no wrong answers, it's all right answers. And the third question that you have to be able to answer is, how do you feel about cubes? Okay. Do you want to work in an office, or do you want to work in the field? And once again, this sort of comes down to what type of profession you've chosen, right? But they all, you know, congratulations, it's the 21st century. We're getting sort of flexible with this stuff. You know, a lot of us are very social creatures. We're cool with working in an office. Hey, I know cubes get, you know, sort of down, but, you know, cubes are getting actually sort of high-tech these days. But would you want to go into an office? Would you like to work with other people who are working for the same company, who are working towards the same goal? Would you want to work with other people who know how to do your job better than you, and who are willing to teach you how to do your job, show you what you have to do? Would you like to work side by side with the person who's going to promote you? Give them a chance to see you working every single day. Oh, okay, I can see some value to that. Or would you slice your wrists if you had to do that? Would you prefer to be out in the field, out working with customers, out in the factory, out someplace? But dear God in heaven, do not put me in a cube. Do not make me go into an office. I have got to be out. I've got to be free, so to speak, right? Two different ways you can do this, and there's different types of jobs. So you've got three things you got to work out, right? Groups or single, okay? Collect, process, or format. And oh, by the way, are you comfortable with working in an office, or do you have to be out in the world? Then there's three skills that you're going to have if you want to have any hope of being able to find a job. Would you like to know what those skills are? Okay. First skill, you're going to have setbacks. Now, I know your life has been perfect to this point, right? You've never had a failure. You've never not gotten first place. You've never not been number one in your class. So this is going to come as harsh music, okay? But when you're searching for a job, sometimes you're not going to get the job. And you know you're the right person for it. You know that they really should hire you, but for some odd and strange reason, they may end up not giving you the job. Heck, they might not even give you the interview, right? And should you curl up into a little ball and go home? No, absolutely not. There will be setbacks. You get up, you say, Dad, didn't work out, and you move on. That just wasn't the right job for you, okay? Second thing you need to realize is that finding a job after you come out of college is a journey. How long does it take to find a job? 4 years. No, it doesn't. Just making that up. Sorry, that was just, I need to pull something. How long do you think it should take you to find a job? A week? 4 days? What do we got?
Which field?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter what
Don't
the
matter.
field?
Don't care. Come on. You're useless. I mean, in all honesty, you're useless no matter what field you're in. Okay? You're a lump of clay. Okay? So I'm hiring lumps of clay. It doesn't matter.
For an average person, I'd say maybe 6 months.
That's a good guess. And let's put that as a stick in the ground. And I think that's actually a pretty good guess. So let's say it's going to take you 6 months. So if you're 3 months into this and you haven't got a job, how should you be feeling? Dejected? Like, shit, this isn't going to work out for me. I'm never going to get a job. You're only halfway through. You're not going to get a job until 6 months, okay? You got another 3 months to go before you can get dejected, right? Okay? And in fact, if 6 months is the average, remember that average thing right in the middle? Sorry, math question, right? So that means it could be longer or it could be shorter, right? So if we say it's going to take you roughly 6 months to find a job after you come out of college, there you go. You got to stick in the ground. That means you're going to get rejected a lot, potentially, right? There's going to be jobs that don't work out, interviews that go nowhere. So what? Who cares? You got 6 months, so you got yourself a journey going on here. Also means that you have to budget that much time to find a job, right? Don't be going, oh, I'm going to go pick up my cap and gown, oh, and I'm going to go find a job. Cool, that's good. That's what I'm going to do this week. Yeah, okay, whatever. Okay, and then the final thing that you have to remember is, hey, congratulations, you are special. You made it into USF. And at some point in time, fingers crossed, let's not get cocky here, you will have gotten a degree, right? You will have actually graduated. Take that, Mom. Ha! Showed you. No, really. Okay? So that means that you are actually good at what you do. Congratulations. So no matter how many times a job interview or whatever doesn't work out for you, it doesn't matter. You will be successful. It's just a matter of keeping at it. That's the key thing. Remember, this is sort of an up and down emotional roller coaster when you're looking for a job. Because there's a lot of jobs that aren't the right job for you, but you won't know that until they tell you or you make the decision yourself. So stay at it once you start. So why am I competent to talk to you about this? Well, because I went to college for a really long time. I went to college for 15 years. Pretty cool, huh? Now, because I went to college for 15 years, I got 4 degrees. How many degrees? You guys got? None? Ha! I got 4 of them, man. How you like that? And now I got 3 kids, and I don't get to go to school anymore. But that also means I went to 5 different universities, okay? So I went to all these universities. Man, I know an awful lot about looking for jobs because I've done it over and over and over again, okay? So been there, done that, been in your shoes a long time ago, but I was also in your shoes multiple times as I went for different degrees and then went out and looked for different jobs each time. So it can be done. I go out, I find jobs. If I can do it, you can do it also, okay? So take that as a word of confidence. Okay. So what's the best possible thing that could ever happen during a job interview? They're describing the job to you and you say, oh, stop, hold on. You know, I've already done that job before. You think they'd hire you? Damn straight. Because that's what they really want. When somebody's interviewing somebody for a job, what they, the perfect candidate would be the person who's already done the job. Because then I don't have to train you, right? There's not this big learning curve. You actually know about the job, you know how it goes, you know all this stuff. Fantastic. That's wonderful. That's great. You're exactly the person I want to hire for the job. Okay, so if we're going to get you closer to being able to say, well, I've done that before, we probably won't be able to get you to say you've done the job before, but maybe you've done parts of the job. Okay, well, cool. Let's see what we can do there. So how can we get you to a point where you can say that you've done parts of the job? Oh, you got to get a job. So who has a job? Show of hands. Okay, that's cool. Everybody should be raising their hands. Okay? If possible, you should get a job. Now, you got 4 different types of jobs you can get while you're in school. Okay. Clearly, there's the on-campus job, right? Okay. Now, you guys have all selected a particular major. Okay? So the last thing I want you doing is working in the Marshall Center at lunchtime as a sandwich artist. Okay? Cool guy, cool gig, and yeah, you get a paycheck, and yeah. But really, the job that you get during college is not about the paycheck. It's really about building your resume. Okay? So whatever your particular major is, you'd like to get an on-campus job that has to do with your major. And once again, you sort of don't care about the pay. That's a careful one. You got to figure out what you want to do and stuff like that. But what you'd really like to do is go find one of your professors in your major area and say, hey, do you need some help? Right? I will give you help. I will give you my time, but you need to pony up and give me a recommendation. You need to give me a cool title, maybe. You are senior lab cleaner-upper person. All right, cool. That's a senior, and I want to point that out to you, okay? Okay, that would be the ideal on-campus gig. Okay, so what else is there? Well, other types of jobs would be... how many summers you got, assuming you go to college for 4 years? You got 3 summers, right? So what's your plan for next summer? Gonna kick back, gonna go to the beach, gonna hook up with my what, high school friends? Really? Come on, big loser. That's in the past, okay? Oh, I'm sorry, freshmen may not know this. I'm sorry, everybody went to high school, you're never gonna talk to them again. Come on, they went someplace else, who cares, okay? Best friend forever, we'll never, no, you're not gonna talk to them, okay? So here's the concept. Every summer, each one of those 3 summers, you have an opportunity to get a job potentially that's not on campus, okay? Now you can waste the summer, you can sit at home, you can have a great time. By the way, all the Xbox games come out just before summer, so there you go, right? You know, Grand Theft Auto 6, yeah, that'll be great. But no, that's the wrong answer, okay? So concept is you have a summer, which is a relatively short period of time, about 3 months or so, to go out and get a job. Once again, the concept is to get some sort of job that's related to your major area. It may not be specific, but man, if it has anything to do with your major area, then all of a sudden that's something interesting to put on your resume that's going to show the person that you're interviewing with that you care about your area, that you've been investigating it, and all of a sudden you've got more skills that make you look different from everybody else who's looking for that one. So, you know, once again, those summer jobs don't necessarily just show up. You go home and, wow, there it is. You actually got to start looking for that early on, okay? Another concept is, you know, the university doesn't shut down over the summer. All your professors are still here, right? They're still doing whatever they do over the summer. So there's always a possibility you could go to them and say, hey, listen, you know, I'm around, I'm available during the summer. Is there a job or is there somewhere I can help you out over the summer? Options. We've got lots of options. Another option is an internship. Anybody doing an internship? Anybody? Who are you doing an internship with?
It's a small, like, healthcare consulting firm.
Is that your major area?
Well, I do the financial stuff, so technically I am doing something in that.
We could spin a story on that run, right? Okay, financial stuff. Well, yeah, that's cool. So you financial healthcare finances, which is actually.
I'm a county major.
There we go. That's perfect. You know, it's in the neighborhood. That's cool. It doesn't have to be in the house. It just has to be in the neighborhood, so to speak. Which is actually very cool. So you know, an internship is basically you go, you work with the company. Potentially, the university gives you credit for having done it. 12 to 15 credit hours, I think, is the maximum you can possibly get for something like that. But once again, all of a sudden you're showing somebody that you're interviewing with that you actually have experience in a particular area that they're hiring you for. Okay? Because all of a sudden, you know, I'm thinking to myself as I'm interviewing you, you've been there, you've done this before. I don't have to take you from 0 up to becoming useful. You're about halfway, potentially. So that's one way to do it. It is a time commitment, though. All right? And so you got to be aware of that. Which leads us to our 4th option for getting work experience while you're in college, and that's going out and getting a job. Okay, now that's sort of the nuclear option, because your real primary task is to go to university, get your degree, okay? You really don't want to do anything that's going to take away from that, and getting a job would take away from that, because you're going to have to balance some serious time here. But it's always a possibility, and if you could get the right job, it actually might be worth it. So it's your call as to whether or not you can be comfortable doing it like that. So if you can possibly get a job in the area of your major while you're in school, do it. That's fantastic. That's resume material there. That's discussion material. It's going to make everything easier when you go looking for a job. Okay, now the question is, when it comes time for you to go starting to look for a job, you got to sit back and you got to do some thinking and try and figure out what the right type of job for you is. So you'll see a list of companies that have openings. Fantastic. Should you apply to all of them? No, you should not. You don't have enough time in the day to do that. You need to make some decisions. So what you need to do is when you find a job opening, you need to figure out, do you want to go work for that company? I have some friends who are completely anti-war. They are completely against anything having to do with war. They think it's wrong, they think it's bad, they think it's all sorts of stuff like that. What this means for them is they would never work for a defense contractor. Okay, that's just off the table. If you make weapons or munitions of any sort, they will not work for you. Okay, that's cool. If you have a similar sort of view, you need to know about it, right? Here's an interesting question. If you're a marketing major and R.J. Reynolds, the world's largest manufacturer of cigarettes and cigars, came to town, would you be interviewing with him? Hey, guess what? We got 18 to 21-year-olds to smoke. We're up by 3%. Woohoo! Good day. No, I don't know. You got to figure out what you want to do with that. So you have to take a look at the company and figure out if you would be comfortable working for them. Okay, that's step number one, whenever you see an opening. The second step is you have to figure out whether or not they'd be interested in you. Okay? Are you the right match for that particular type of job? Okay? And that's an interesting question. You sort of have to play the role of the company, have to sort of take a look at you and your particular circumstance and say, are you actually a good match to that one? It's a yes or no, okay? And if it doesn't work out for whatever reason, not a big deal whatsoever. The world is filled with job openings, okay? It's not all about one. Okay. Assuming that you find the right job opening, you say, hey, listen, that's a job that I'm interested in going and applying for. And the very first thing that you need to do is you need to spend some time researching the company. Who's heard of Google? Oh, everybody has that. Okay, so look, there's no excuse for you not to do some research on the company. Who are they? Where's their headquarters? What's the name of their CEO? What products do they make? How long have they been around? Take a look also at their press releases. The most recent press releases are the most interesting things. What's going on? Did they just settle a big lawsuit? Is the government filing charges against them? Did they just start leaking oil in the Gulf of Mexico? What's up with the company? Read what's going on currently with the company. Make sure that you're up to speed on what they're doing. The next thing you need to do is you need to take probably the job posting, whatever they're looking for, and go to your friends and go to your peers, go to your teachers, go to your parents, and say, hey, listen, here's a job posting that I'm thinking about applying for. Do you think that I would be a good match for this job? You may think that you're the best candidate in the world for it, but getting some feedback from people who know you can be really invaluable. Have them say, yeah, no, actually you would be a good match for that. Or have them say, no, I think that would be the wrong job for you for the following reasons. Okay? Get their feedback. Now, once you get their feedback, you got to take it with a grain of salt. Right? So, we always appreciate friends and relatives and everybody like that who gives us feedback. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're right. Okay? So collect everybody's feedback as to whether or not you should or should not apply for that job, and then think it through. Think if their points are valid, yes or no, whether or not you agree with them. You won't always agree with them, but it's cool. We appreciate their input. And then at that point in time, you'll have more information. The next thing you need to do is take a look at what your skills are. You know that there's certain things that you do really well. Maybe you have a good job of focusing. Maybe you're really good at writing. Maybe you're really good at number crunching. Whatever your skill set is, go through it in your mind, and then take a look at the job posting, at the description of the job. Do your skills line up with what they're looking for? Okay? If they need somebody who's really good at numbers, and you suck at math, then perhaps it's not the right job for you. Okay? But just take a look at what your skills are, take a look at what they're looking for, and determine whether or not there's a match between the two. And the next thing that you need to do when you're getting ready to go after a job opening is to rewrite your resume. Who has a resume? Show of hands, okay, that's cool. You don't actually have a resume. What you have is a template, okay? Every time you apply for a job, you have to rewrite that resume, which isn't that big of a deal. What you really have to do is take the resume and customize it for that particular job, okay? We'll talk about how to do that a little bit later on. But really what you want to do is take the resume that you have now, which is sort of a generic resume, and you want to tweak it. You want to add words, you want to add phrases that have to do with the job that you're applying for. So it looks like the resume was created just for that position. Or more importantly, so it looks like you are the perfect candidate for that particular job. Okay? So you always rewrite your resume for every job that you apply. And then the final thing to do, just do it. Okay, so there's a lot of people who read a job posting, a lot of people who think, wow, maybe I should actually go and apply to it, and then they never do anything about it, right? So once you've determined that this is the right match for you, this is the right match for what you want to do, you actually have to apply for the job, right? You will never get a job that you don't apply for. Got it? All right. So who's heard of LinkedIn? Show of hands, show of hands. Okay, congratulations, guys. It's the 21st century. LinkedIn is potentially a very powerful tool for how you're going to find your first job when you get out of college. Forget about the newspaper. Forget about Monster.com. Forget about Career Builder. They're all fine. They're all there. You should probably take a look at them. You've got no problems with that. But arguably, LinkedIn is how you're going to find your job. Okay? Because LinkedIn is like a laser. Okay? It's going to focus you on exactly the type of job you want. It's going to get you in contact with the people who are hiring people that do what you do. Okay? The very first thing you need to know about LinkedIn is that you have to create a profile. You guys got profiles on LinkedIn? Is it completely done, or is it sort of done? Yeah. Okay. All right. So look, LinkedIn says, "Tell us all about yourself." Do you have a picture on it? You got like beer cans and a hat and a little straws? Yeah. Okay. No. It's got to be a formal picture, right, of some sort. You just a shirt, tie, whatever the scoop is, right? Okay. So really, you have to fill out your complete LinkedIn profile. Okay. Don't leave any part of it undone. You've got something to put in each one of those. And the more information that you put into that, the more keywords go into LinkedIn, the better LinkedIn is going to be able to match you up with the types of jobs that match you, and the better you're going to have a chance of showing up when somebody goes searching for somebody to do a job, like the type of job that you want to do. So fill out that profile completely. The next thing you need to do is you have to build your network. Okay, so for those of you who have a LinkedIn profile, how many people are there in your network right now, roughly? 10? 2, huh? 200? Wow, he's going. All right, that's good. How many? A few? Okay. All right, so here's the concept. LinkedIn works the best the bigger your network is. Okay? So what you want to do is you want to grow your network. And you might be saying, Jim, I don't know anybody. Well, that's cool, yeah, but you do know people. So right off the bat, you know your parents, right? And they probably have a LinkedIn profile, okay? You've got relatives, right? Among all of your relatives, some of them have to have a LinkedIn profile. So link with them, connect with them. That's fantastic. Because remember, when you get to them, you get to everybody that they're connected to. Okay? And even if they're not in your field, it doesn't matter. Okay? Because the world's a big, wide world. And what you really want to do is you want to connect to as many people as possible. Also, all of your professors who are in your particular area probably have LinkedIn profiles. So why not connect with your professors? You're paying a lot of money to go to school, okay? They should at least connect to you on LinkedIn, right? Okay? So there you go. That's the key point right there. But what you do is everybody you meet, and oh, by the way, your friends and your peers who are in school, connect to them on LinkedIn, okay? Add. Keep adding people to your LinkedIn network because then it gets larger and larger. And remember, it's not the people that are in your network, but rather it's the people that are in their network that matters, right? Because LinkedIn loves to say you have 200 people in your network, which gives you access to 78,000 people or something like that, right? So it's the second hop and the third hop that becomes important. Build your network every day. Okay? Gives you a chance to search for people who can hire you. So once again, in LinkedIn, you can identify what people do for a living. Fantastic. You can identify what companies they work for. Fantastic. You can reach out to those people. You can ask them questions. You can invite them to join your network. You can have communications with people who are doing the type of job that you want to do. And everyone's actually pretty cool about this stuff. You know, before you sign up, before you get that lifelong tattoo, whatever the job is, wouldn't it be cool to talk to somebody who's already doing the job? Find out the pluses and minuses of it? LinkedIn is your communication vehicle. The other thing in LinkedIn has two types of job postings. One is paid, just like you'd see like in a newspaper or something like that. So recruiters can pay LinkedIn and they'll post it and it'll show up. And once again, when you filled out your complete online thing, you'll start seeing ads for jobs show up on your profile that link into what you do. Okay, that's very cool. But you can also search in whatever your particular area is. There's another place, there's a lot of unpaid ones that are associated with things like groups and stuff like that, or companies. So if you find a company on a company page in LinkedIn, they'll also have a job or a careers tab, and they'll list all the openings they have at that particular company. Once again, great ways to find out different jobs. So forget about the newspaper, forget about the help wanted, it's all about LinkedIn. You can build a reputation. So look, I know that you're in college. You know that you're in college. On LinkedIn, nobody knows you're in college. Okay? So if you're a member of a group, by the way, in LinkedIn, you can join up to 50 different groups. Okay? LinkedIn has over 1 million different groups. So I don't care what your major is, there's got to be at least 100 groups having to do with your major. You should join as many of those groups as possible. Why? Well, because people who work for companies that you want to work for, people who do research in the area that you're going into, they're already members of those groups. You want to join those groups, you want to ask questions, you want to answer questions that other people have asked. You want to become active in those groups because then you start to get a reputation, hopefully a positive reputation, that says, I know what I'm talking about. People will go, hey, I've seen you in the group, you know, we've got an opening, you should apply for it. Got it? So, a bunch of you already have a resume. That's fantastic. I've got good news for you about resumes. The good news about resume is there is no such thing as a fixed format for resumes. Woohoo! You can't do it wrong. I've got really bad news for you. There's no such thing as a fixed format for a resume. Good luck. So if you were artists, sculptors, or painters, you would have a wide variety of different sort of resumes you could put together with photos and all sorts of really cool stuff in it. Since you're not, I'm sorry, are there any sculptors, artists, anything? Okay, good. Since you're not, you have to come up with basically a fairly boring resume. And the reason you have to come up with a fairly boring resume is because the person who's potentially interviewing you, who's potentially going to offer you a job, expects a boring resume. Expects your boring resume to have specific information that they're looking for, and expects your boring resume to have the information in spots that they expect to find it. If you make them work for it, if you make them hunt for your information, that's not going to make them happy, right? They're going to be like, I'm not going to make the effort. So what has to be on your resume? It has to start out with a heading. A heading is all about you. So what's your name? I can't tell you how many times I've been doing interviews and I've been going, oh my God, what's this person's name? You can just look at the, oh, okay, thank you. Hey, John. Yeah, excellent, that's good. All right, it has to have your name, has to have your postal address, has to have your email address, has to have your phone number. A couple of interesting things. You guys got USF email addresses? Don't put that on your resume. Do you think it's possible that you could be looking for a job after you leave the university? It's possible, right? What happens when you leave the university to your USF email address? It goes away, right? You stop paying us, we take away your email address. Thank you very much, right? Get a Gmail, get an Outlook, get whatever you want. I don't care. Just get away from the university as far as the email address that you put on your resume. Make sure it's one that's going to exist long after you're out of school. Otherwise, you'll never see that email whatsoever. Second thing is on the phone number. I don't think this is a really big deal. Obviously, it's got to be your mobile number, right? If somebody wants to get in touch with you, let's make sure that they can get in touch with you right then, right there. They're not going to call the apartment or the house or mom and dad's house or whatever the story is. Let's make sure it's your mobile number and that they can get in touch with you if they pick up the phone. Because you want to be there to, hey, I'd like to talk to you on Wednesday. Fabulous. Okay? The other thing is objective. That's another part. Objective is a little bit back and forth. It sort of says, what kind of job are you looking for? Now, we talked about customizing your resume for the job that you're applying to. Guess what? The objective is a big part of that customization. You change the objective every time you apply for a job. And that objective says, this is exactly the type of job that I would like to work at. Okay? So you customize it so the person who's reading it goes, oh, wow, your objective lines up very nicely with the job that I'm trying to hire for. You're in. Okay? The other thing, obviously, education is a huge part that you want to list. I mean, it's just one line right now, right? Don't tell me what high school you went to, because I so desperately don't care what high school you're in. But don't tell me your high school GPA either, because I really don't care. Okay? What's interesting is I don't really care that much about your college GPA either. Despite everyone getting all whacked out about this stuff, I don't care. But what I care about is that you actually got a degree. Okay? And if you're interviewing prior to having graduated, say expected graduation December of 2013, expected graduation May of 2014. It doesn't really matter what it is, okay? But it's getting the degree that matters. I really don't care about your grade point average. I just care that you got the degree, okay? One line, but you spent an awful lot of money, a lot of time, being able to add that one line to your resume. So put it in, make sure that it's there. Professional experiences and qualifications. You know, we've talked about you getting a job while you're in college. This is where you would list out what you've done. This is where you want to put anything that you've ever done in your life that you can consider to be related to the type of job that you're going for. I don't care if you're a lifeguard, I don't care if you work in the library, whatever it is, put it there so it shows that you have done work, you have been employed, you know how to be an employee. After that comes skills. Who knows how to use Microsoft Word? Woohoo! Okay, that's a skill. Okay. PowerPoint, Excel. You know, you go, well, yeah, doesn't everybody know how to use those? Interesting enough, no. Not everybody knows how to use that. So list it. If you know how to use any software packages, if you know how to use any particular type of tools, if you know how to use any sort of calculations or formulas that's related to your particular area, list it here, okay? And it's sort of, you know, yeah, of course you know that, but it doesn't matter. Call it out because it does make you unique. And the very last thing that you want to put on the resume is any sort of awards or honors that you've ever received, okay? Once again, do I really care? I probably don't. But if you're showing me some awards and honors, potentially it shows me that you were involved in stuff. If you held a position in an organization, I was treasurer, I was secretary, I was scribe, I don't care what it was, list it here. You know, my question to you a little bit is you just spent 4 years in college. What did you actually do during those 4 years? Did you go to class, go home, sleep, go to class, go home, sleep? You know, is that it? Is that all you did? You know, if you did more than that, then list it here and tell me what you did. That's the key thing. All right. So, quick question. Who likes peanut butter sandwiches? Who likes jelly sandwiches? Who likes peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? Yeah, okay. We're really a peanut butter and jelly sandwich sort of crowd, right? Okay. So here's the concept. A resume by itself will not get you an interview. Okay? You need a cover letter. Peanut butter, jelly, cover letter, resume. Okay? They go together. Now, a cover letter has one purpose. It's to get the person to read your resume. Okay, if I give you my resume, it's like, woo, don't care. If I give you a resume and a cover letter, I'll actually read the cover letter. Okay? And if you catch my attention with your cover letter, I'll actually then read your resume. And if I read your resume, you've got a much better chance that I'm going to invite you to actually come in and do an interview. Got it? Okay. So what goes into a cover letter? Really only 3 parts. It's got an introduction, a body, and a closing. How diggity. How much more simple can it be? So the introduction has to be, say, you've got a problem. I mean, they've got an opening. They've got a posting. They must have some sort of problem. You got to say, hey, and the qualifications for whoever you pick for that are this, okay? So got a problem, got some qualifications. And then the third thing that you've got to cover there is, hey, there has to be a solution for it. And by the way, I'm the solution. In the body of your cover letter, what you want to do, and this is the crazy thing in the world, people will do what you tell them to do, okay? So that means in the body of your cover letter, you have to say, read my resume, okay? You actually have to tell them to do it. Read my resume and we can have a talk, okay? The other thing you have to do in the body is you have to say what qualities you have that matches you to this particular job. And then finally you go to the closing. And in the closing what you want to do is say, what's the next step? Okay, I've given you this cover letter, I've given you a copy of my resume, what's the next step? I will get in touch with you next Wednesday, or you can give me a call at any time. Doesn't matter, you can pick what you want to do, be proactive, or let's put the responsibility on them. But tell them what you want to do. So whenever you apply for a job, it's not just the resume, always include the cover letter. Okay, because they will feel obligated to read your cover letter. If it's got an opening, a body, and a closing, then you're good to go. You're going to actually do. So now we got into the interview. You did a good job with the cover letter, did a good job with the resume. Poof, they say, hey, now are they going to bring you in for an interview? No. What are they going to do? What kind of interview? What's your first type of interview? Phone interview. Exactly. Bad news on that one, guys. When we communicate, guess what? All of it, or at least a big chunk of it, is body language, right? Unless you're doing FaceTime, it's not going to be happening for you on that phone interview, right? Okay? So the only thing that they're going to be able to hear is your voice, okay? And they're going to be forming their own impression from you based on how you interact over that phone. So let's talk about what you can do to make a phone interview go your way. Very first thing, okay? Your environment matters, okay? When you're going to have a phone interview, make sure you get your butt to a quiet place, and probably someplace where you've got 4 bars on your cell phone. And oh, by the way, make sure the cell phone's got a good charge. Okay, it's going to sort of suck if halfway through, well, I'd like to offer you a, wait, no, hold on. All right? Make sure you got a fully charged phone, okay? Make sure you get someplace quiet, probably about 15 minutes before the call is going to happen, okay, so that you're ready for the call to happen. Now, before you have any sort of interview with somebody, make sure that you have your questions ready for them, okay? They're going to ask you questions. You better have your answers ready for that. What kind of questions are they going to ask you? How high can you jump? What's the fastest land animal? Why is the sky blue? No! They're going to ask you all the standard stuff, okay? So why are you interested in this job? Okay. What do you know about this company? Okay. What qualities do you have that you think you could do this type of job? You know, the standard sort of stuff. You can have the answers to those ready long before the interview happens, okay? Well, I can give you a list of a whole bunch of the questions on that. So now the other thing that you have to do is you have to get your questions for them ready. So remember how these interview things go. You connect, they tell you about the job, they ask you some questions about your background and your skill set and stuff like that. What's the last thing they say to you? Do you have any questions for me? Okay? And you had better have some questions for them. Okay? And they better not be stupid questions like, so how many vacation days would I get? No! That's a bad question. Instead, it should be a good question, probably about the company or about the actual job. So that, hey, you know, thank you very much. You've done an excellent job of describing the job to me. I've got a real quick question for you because I was in the paper that there's been some changes in the federal laws relating to the stuff that you're going to be doing. Are you guys going to make changes to the job now, or do you see those changes taking effect in maybe 6 months or a year? If they love those types of questions. Oh, well, we're making changes now, and here's whatever. It doesn't matter. But remember, when they hang up the phone, the last thing that's going to be running through their head, their last impression of you, is what you talked about last, and it's going to be the question. So if you asked good questions, if you seemed knowledgeable, that's what they're going to take away from the interview. That's what they're going to remember about you, and that's great. That's fantastic. Don't go, no, I don't really got any questions for you. No, that's good. No, show up with questions. Always have questions. Cool. Now, if the phone interview goes well, where are we going to get to? What's the next stage after the phone interview? Face-to-face. Run away! No, okay, face-to-face is great. It means you're getting closer, right? They're willing to make a time, energy, and investment in you because you're going to be a pest, right? So somebody who's doing work for the company has to stop doing work for the company and has to spend a half an hour with you. So clearly they've already made an investment in you, right? They've already said, well, you're at least worthy, so we should invest in you to find out if you're good enough to come here. Cool, all right. So when you have a face-to-face interview, make sure that you show up in the parking lot of wherever you're going a half an hour early. Because you have no idea what's going to go on with traffic and stuff like that. But shoot to be there a half an hour early. Spend 15 minutes in your car, praying or listening to music, do whatever you can. Don't care. And 15 minutes beforehand, go up to the front desk. The reason you want to have 15 minutes between when you hit the front desk and when you actually go up is more often than not there's some security guards there, right? They're going to ask you for ID. They're going to ask you to sign something. Maybe they're going to take your picture for some sort of ID. It's going to take 5 or 10 minutes to process you. What you really don't want to do is show up and then be like 10 minutes into it. They can call the person at any point in time. At that point in time, you're good to go. You're there, shows that you're eager, shows that you're excited. That's all sorts of good stuff like that, okay? When you meet the person, you're going to shake hands with them. Shake, shake, shake. Good shake. Shake. Good shake. Shake. Good. That hurt a little bit, but that's okay. Shake. Excellent. Excellent. You guys practicing your handshakes at home? Yeah. Or is that just too freaky weird? I don't care. If you got a suck handshake, it's going to haunt you for the rest of your life, okay? So practice your handshake with people that you know. And yeah, I know handshakes are weird, but you should at least have a good handshake. No crushing, but also don't be all, oh, whatever, thanks. Okay. You want to have a good handshake that's sort of unremarkable. Okay. If it's unremarkable, we're good to go. We shake hands and move on. Make sure. I mean, that's something you can do before you go for an interview. Practice your damn handshake, right? Okay. The concept on an interview is make sure that you listen to what they have to say, make sure you respond to them, keep your answers short. Well, it's interesting that you bring that up because something happened to me during my childhood that I think, no, shut up, don't care about that, okay? So there's a lot of good things you can do during an interview. Once again, remember, you want them to talk as much as you can possibly get them to talk. If they spent the whole time talking and you said almost nothing, congratulations. That's the most successful job interview ever. Because when they're done, they'll be going, I really like talking to him. Yeah, because you like hearing yourself talk. Right. Now remember, are you going to be the only person interviewing for the job, or are there going to be other people? Damn, it's a competition, isn't it? So stand outside and egg them as, no, don't do that. So really, what you need to do is you need to make sure that whenever you have a job interview, you stand out, okay? You're different from the other 25, 35, 45 people who are interviewing for that damn job. So how are you going to stand out? Well, that's a good way to do it. First off, know the company and know their products. Know what they do. Actually show up being a smart person. Remember that Google thing? Okay, there's no excuse not to know that. You'd be amazed at the number of people who show up for an interview who really don't know very much about the company or what the company does, right? Take the time, spend an hour, spend 2 hours, and research the company. Understand what they do, understand what type of products they make, understand who their number one competitor is, okay? That's critical information, so when you go in, you can have an intelligent discussion with them. Make sure that you have a good story about you. Something led you to be right there at that day, at that time, talking to that person. Turn it into a story and make it an interesting story. Don't be, well, saw that you had an opening and I had some time, so I just figured whatever. No! Wrong way! It's amazing, because when I woke up from the coma, it was interesting, because on the wall, there was a picture from your company, and I said, oh my God, you brought me out of my coma. I have got to go talk. No, whatever. But you get the gist of it. Come up with the story that's really interesting. You have to be enthusiastic. Okay? When I'm talking to somebody during a job interview, look, either they can go, well, you know, yeah, I could do this job, or I could do some other job. It wouldn't really much matter to me, okay? But the concept is actually to be enthusiastic.
Yeah, not yet. I'm actually going to send all my new members out, and then I'm going to move everyone that's a brother up. 7 o'clock, you guys.
Okay, I'll just stay back here.
Oh, this is the time
on the camera.
Well, that's so sad for you, Pat. Cool, man. Hey, thanks for coming, man. I really appreciate it. But you get something out of it? A little something? All right, that's something.
Even though he was late.
I can. What I will do is I will send it to you, and I'll send it on to whoever has to Okay, the other thing that you want to do during a job interview is smile. Could I see everybody smile for just a moment? Just nothing freaky, nothing freaky. Come on top of that. Yeah, okay, there we go. Yeah, don't give me that. So constantly, we really don't smile that much, and especially when you're in a high-stress situation like that job interview. It's going fine. I really would like to work for this company. I could think that that'd be the best thing ever. No, that's not it at all. So the concept is if you smile. If I smile at you, guess what you have to do? You have to smile back. You can't not smile back, okay? You'd crack in half if you didn't, okay? So if you're smiling at the person who's interviewing, guess what? They're smiling back at you. If they're smiling back at you, they got all sorts of muscles and stuff like that. They're feeling good because they're smiling, right? That means they have a positive impression of you, okay? Fantastic. That's wonderful. Okay, so you go in, you do the interview. This is fantastic. What do you do after the interview?
Thank you.
Well, more importantly, during the interview, what do? You get their business cards. Every single person you bump into, you should get their business card. If they go like, oh, I'm out, or I don't have it, not a problem. Hey, name, phone number, email address. That's all you want. You can bring a piece of paper and a pen, scribble it down. But ask everybody for their business card. More often than not, they go, oh yeah, here you go. So you should walk out there. What I like to do is put them in the sequence order that I get them, because I can never remember names. So the first person's on top, the second person's on, that's what you do. So collect all the business cards, and you're exactly correct. Now, interesting question. Should you send them an email, or should you handwrite a note and send it to them? And so the world sort of goes back and forth with this. I personally believe email is the way to go. The reason is in a lot of companies, nobody gets mail anymore. So you could send a postal one, which would be very cool and very personal and stuff like that. It may never get to them, right? Because maybe they never go into the office. Maybe mail never comes to their desk. They don't look for it anymore, just because we've gone so electronic and stuff like that. If you send them an email, they'll have it that day or the next day. Don't send it the day that you went, because that's a little too freaky stalkerish. Send it the next day and say, hey, just wanted to say thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time to meet with me. Now, here's the little secret trick. Here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. A couple days later, probably before they've gotten back to you or anything like that, send them another email and say, hey, I appreciated our time talking together. One of the things that you brought up that said, you said Obamacare is impacting the way your business does business. It's interesting. I found this article that talked about how Obamacare is affecting one of your competitors and what they're doing about it. I just wanted to send you this link. Okay? If you send that email, first off, it reminds them that you exist. Because remember, a couple days ago, a lot goes on and stuff like that. And you're providing them with valuable information that shows them that you actually listened to them, that you actually remembered what they said. Who cares if they go to take a look at the link? But it shows that you listen to them, you know what's going on. That moves you up a notch. That's a good thing. If too much time goes on and they never get back to you, call them. You can pick them up, and you know, what's that? If they tell you that they're going to get back to you in 5 days and 8 days have gone by, pick up the phone, give them a call. Say, hey, you know, I'm trying to balance out what's going on in my schedule. I know we had planned on talking to you, stuff like that. I understand you get busy. Just want to check to see if you guys have reached a decision. No, we've slipped it. We're trying to figure out. We're interviewing some more people. That's all. So more days can go by. Send them an email. If that doesn't work, call them again. So it's call, email, call, email, call me. And once again, remember, they got other stuff going on. Just because they're not getting in touch with you doesn't mean you don't like you. They probably love you. All good. Persistence, persistence, persistence. Keep doing it. Interview with multiple companies. When you get in touch with the company, keep in touch with the people. Go, 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 go until they give you an answer. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Doesn't matter. Okay? Not creepy stalking. No, no, no. That's not good. But persistent is good. Okay? Last thing I want to cover with you guys is the view from the other side. So as somebody who has interviewed an awful lot of college students, what was I looking for? So I was looking for a bunch of different things. First one was, do you have a plan? You know, what do you want to do with your life? Do you have any clue whatsoever? Or are you just like, well, I got done with college, I guess I should go get a job, right? Do you have a goal? Is there something that you want to become? Well, I'd like to run this company in about 4 years. Good luck with that one. But yeah, okay, so that's something to think about. Okay? Do you have persistence? Do you have a good appearance? So those of you who have tattoos, those of you who have piercings, congratulations. Your individuality is being expressed, and I think that's fantastic. Hide it! Take out the piercings, cover the tats, okay? We'll talk about that later on, okay? Yeah, long sleeves, long sleeves. Thank you very much, okay? The question is, what are your communication skills like? Okay, are you a good communicator? Can I hear you? Can I understand you? You know, do you speak clearly? Do you speak loudly enough that I can hear you? Or you whisper? No, that's not good. Okay? Another question is, are you humble? You know, you're coming out of college. I got myself a college degree. I know all about whatever my particular area is. You would be lucky to employ me. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Okay? I need humble. I need people who understand they've got a lot to learn. Confidence, and also your ability to work in a team. Okay? Do you have the ability to work with other people? Where you're like, well, you know, I'm God's gift to this earth. You know, so anybody who gets to work with me is just going to be privileged from that. No, can't be that way. Wow. All right, so that's it, guys. That's my presentation. But I have a gift for you. Well, not for all of you, but for some. So was the information that we shared tonight valuable?